Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. God bless us all. Let us rejoice this day. It's been a few weeks since I've been on YouTube and tried to share something that I've learned. I've learned something from a Dr. Claude Anderson. If you ever get the opportunity, look him up, Dr. Claude Anderson and Powernomics. And so today I'm going to look at Powernomics through the Bible, through the Old Testament, Jeremiah and Nehemiah, two great men, two of our great forefathers who taught us the way, or has taught us the way, but we have forgotten. We always stray from the teachings of the prophets. So I'm going to bring that teaching back and sort of show how it fits in today's economy with the children of Israel, the chosen people of God. What I'm going to do right now, as I always do, I'm going to go through what I call the preamble, and let's read Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. And it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thine soul, and with all thy might." And let us keep this in remembrance, Israel, every day that we walk this walk, doing the best that we can, and keep him in remembrance to give us the strength that we have and the moral fortitude to go further. So I'm going to go now to Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 5. But before I do that, I want to talk about race, because basically that's what this is race. What is a race? A race is a athletic competition where one team or one individual races against another team or another individual for a certain distance for a prize. So when we look at race in the context of the United States and of the world in a capitalistic society, then we have to look at it as an athletic competition, an economic athletic competition. God has divided us up into teams, and our teams are our nationalities. We are black, they are brown, they are white, they are red. We are brown, we are copper colored. We are brown, they are brown, the Indians, the Mexicans, the Dominicans. Then we have the whites, who are red. We have the yellows, who are Asians. The Eastern Europeans, who are white, on that team. And so everything, you understand what I'm saying, everything is broken up into teams. And each team is in an economic competition for economic power. And so when you see that, then you look at it through that view, that each team is vying for the economic power of the country, of the land, of the monetary system which within they live, then you'll know why they only deal with their team. The Chinese only buy from the Chinese and only sell to Chinese. You'll be hard pressed to go to a Chinese community and try to sell something. They'll tell you it's a nice product, but we only buy from Chinese, because they want to keep the money in their community. But they will go to a black community and sell stuff and take our money and take it in their community. So will the Arabs. They'll come to the black community and take our money to their community, but they will never come to our community with their money and spend their money in our community. No, no, no. the Jews, the Jewish people, they will sell us everything, take our money, leave our community, but never will they come from their community into our community with their money and buy our stuff, leaving their money in our community. Because the thing is, economic race is to get as much money in your community as possible. We had once done that back in the early 1900s. We had a lot of black power bases, Tulsa, Mount Bayou, Mississippi, just to name a couple, that were very prosperous. You could even go to Overtown in Miami, Florida. You could go to Harlem in Washington, in New York City, where we were prosperous communities because we bought only from blacks and we dealt only from blacks, and integration forced us to do that. But this is not about integration or segregation. Segregation forced us to do that. Thank God for segregation. But anyway, let me go back on the topic. We are in an economic race. And so we are to be building, and we can't build our community if we're not following the word of the Lord. So let's look at what Jeremiah said about building our community. This is Jeremiah chapter 29 and 4. It says, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem into Babylon." He's speaking to us. "Build ye houses and dwell in them, plant gardens, eat the fruit of them, take ye wives and begat sons and daughters, take wives for your sons, give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. And seek the peace of the city whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it, for the peace shall ye have peace. For hereof the peace shall ye have." So he's telling us that while we're here in captivity, to build our homes, build our communities, give our daughters to husbands of our tribe, give our sons to wives of our tribes, so that our community may grow. And here we can have peace inside of Babylon, which today we would call the United States of America, or some would say the United Snakes of America. But nevertheless, he has given us instructions that while we're here, we are to build. As Christ said in one parable, he said, for us to occupy till he returns. Now, if we go to Nehemiah, and we look at Nehemiah, and we go to chapter 13, we'll see in verse number 14 through 21 that he tells us how to prosper economically, and that is buy from us and sell to us and keep our money in our community. But he puts it on the Sabbath day. It says some things you're not to do on the Sabbath day, and that's to buy or to sell. We're not to buy or to sell, but we didn't do that. We bought on the Sabbath day. There we go again. We bought on the Sabbath day. We gave our money away to people on the Sabbath day. So let's see who we gave our money away to. It says, remember me, O God. And this is verse 14, Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 14. Remember me, O my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God and for the officers thereof. So this is Nehemiah praying and telling God and asking God to remember all the good works he's tried to do in building up the city of Judea after it had been crumbled, after the houses were built. Now he's come to build the wall up for the fort to fortify the city. He said, in those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath. So he saw people making wine and stumping grapes to try to make wine. And he saw that's work. You're not supposed to be doing work on the Sabbath. You're supposed to be resting. He said, in bringing sheaves and lading asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they have brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day, and I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. So not only they were making wine, they were doing work, and they were selling plates or selling food in the marketplace. There dwelt men of Tyre, Africans, also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah in Jerusalem. So he said in the marketplace there was also some Africans that brought all type of stuff into our marketplace and were selling it to us on the Sabbath. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. So one of the big problems that we had that caused us to go into slavery or into captivity all the times that we went in is that we would not keep the Sabbath. We got into these different captivities and started doing as the other people did, and that was not keeping the Sabbath and doing everything on the Sabbath, not keeping it holy, not giving our time to the Lord on the Sabbath. Or if we did, we did it on Sunday and not Saturday, because Sunday is not the Sabbath, and therefore we still worked on Sunday. We still worked on Saturday and thought that, oh, it's okay because we go to church on Sunday. Profaning the Sabbath. Cutting your lawn, washing your car, going shopping, all type of things. Anyway, that's what they were doing back then, and this is what Nehemiah told the leaders of the community. Why have you done this? Because this is what caused us to go in slavery before. It says, verse 19, and it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants sat at the gate, that there should be no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and the sellers of all kinds were lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. He says, so what he did, after he told the noblemen, the leaders of Judah, of Jerusalem, that we can't do this on the Sabbath, he shut everything down. He kicked all the foreigners out of the gates and told them, you cannot sell to us on Saturdays. So you got to leave here, take all your stuff and leave. And so he put them out the gates, and he set his men by the gate so that they would not sneak back in and try to sell stuff, or we wouldn't sneak out and try to buy stuff. And I testify, and so the merchants and sellers of all kinds of ware lodged without Jerusalem once or twice. So they went out Jerusalem one weekend, one Saturday, and then the other Saturday they went out. He said, then I testified against them and said, why lodge ye about the wall? He said, why y'all hanging around this wall on the Saturday? I told y'all to get on from around here. He said, if y'all do so again, I will lay hands on you. So Nehemiah wasn't no punk. He told him, if I catch you around here again, I'm gonna have to do something to you. It's gonna get real violent around this joker. He said, from that time forth, they no more on Sabbath. He said, after that, after he kicked everybody out, they weren't trying to sell nothing to us no more on the Sabbath. And I commanded the Levites that they should clean themselves, that they should come in peace, they should come and keep the gates and sanctify the Sabbath day. Remember me O my God, concerning this, and spare me. In those days also saw the Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, those are Arabs, had married of Ammon, those are the Japanese, and Moab, and those are the Chinese. So all these people were coming into our towns, selling us stuff, and even marrying our women. And God told us to have our sons and daughters, do not give your sons and daughters unto another tribe, unto another nation. Keep this thing pure. And so this is what we do today. You'll see some of the sisters, they go in the Arab stores. I know in Miami there's a Arab store on 54th and 20th Avenue. 54th Street and 20th Avenue. And you'll see the sisters come down there, and sometime they'll go in the back with these Arabs. And then next thing you know, after they come out the back, they got their groceries, they come back and go in the back a few more times, now they got a job. How did they get the job? What are they doing with these Arabs in the back? We cannot allow other communities come into our community, take our money, and leave, and then be okay with it. We've got to build up our community. We've got to buy from us and sell to us. We've got to keep our money in our community. Every dollar in a Jewish community circulates 28 times. In a Mexican community, it circulates 15 times. In a black community, it circulates once. They say every dollar that we get is only in the black community for 15 minutes. At that point, we take it to the white man and we start wanting to buy his stuff. We'll go buy all his designer clothes. We'll go buy we go to the mall. Why we just don't buy it from us? Why don't we go buy it wholesale, bring it to our community, and keep the money with us like they did in Black Wall Street? Study Black Wall Street and get an idea of how we should be running our community. Therefore, we shall win this economic race. And with that, I say shalom.